The Blues will now go on to meet Chelsea. City's tour so far has been extremely entertaining. Here is Alvarez. Haaland! That is a terrific move from City. Sterling scores!
I think every game is getting better, so our physical condition is getting better.
City equalise through McAtee. Grealish, can he find the finish? Yes, he can! Chance for O'Reilly! Into the penalty area he goes, Oscar Bob. Haaland scores!
Hopefully, we can go into the game Saturday and end it with a win.
Hello and welcome to the final leg of the USA pre-season tour, and the players have travelled and arrived in Ohio, and so the season is creeping closer and closer, and we're only 9 days away now from the season opener, the Community Shield against Manchester United. So in the meantime, we have a game before then, as tomorrow night we will be facing Chelsea. It is Chelsea in Ohio. And of course, tonight we will be bringing you the press conferences live from Josko Gvardiol and Pep Guardiola. And then we'll be bringing you shots of the live training session. So, joining me this evening, I think he's started to melt into that yellow chair. He's been sat on it so often in the last 2 weeks. We're joined again by Big Steve. Hey, Steve.
How are you doing? Okay.
Good. Is it like a bum imprint in that chair now from where you've been?
Sometimes I like a bit of cushion, but sometimes I'm just flexing the chair now. So yeah, I like it.
Good. Nice to see you again. And then we're also joined by Mr. Worldwide himself. Last time he was on two PitchSide lives ago. In that time, he's been travelled across the world and come back because Mr. Worldwide, Mr. Paul Dickov is here.
Yeah, just came back especially to see you, Natalie and Steve. I could have stayed out a bit longer, but I thought I've got to come back and see my mates in the studio.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah. Thanks very much. Because you've been out you saw 2 games. You saw the Barcelona and the AC Milan.
No, just the Barcelona game.
Oh, just the Barcelona. Okay.
Out for the Orlando trip, which was great. I keep saying I'm a lucky boy, so I went out, quick trip, went out Sunday and got back Wednesday or yesterday or something like that. It was so, but great to be out there and see yet again how many City fans were at the game. I was looking forward to obviously Barcelona, Man City. Yeah. Thinking Orlando and Florida, there's a big Hispanic community there. And I'm sort of expecting the Barcelona fans to outnumber the City fans, but it was the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. It was amazing to see.
It looked like it from the shots we were seeing. The crowd looked like it was 75-80% blue shirts. Is that what it was like in real life?
It was, and it was great because a few of the people I was with, they were talking about obviously Barcelona, their brand worldwide and everything else, and but yeah, it was probably 70-75% City fans that were there, which was amazing. The open training session the night before was sold out. People couldn't get in. People couldn't get tickets for it to get in. So it just shows you how big we are.
Oh, I love that, and I love that you are so hardcore that you flew out on Sunday to Orlando, watched the game, well, training on the Monday, game on the Tuesday, and then you flew back on the Wednesday.
Flew back Wednesday, got back Thursday. Yeah. See, this is all right for me tonight, because I'm actually still on America time, so I'm not too bad. It's done me a favour coming in.
Not enough.
He's hardcore, Steve, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
You're one of the hardcore. Well, it's lovely to have you back in the studio. We, obviously, against Barcelona, we had the delay. So it was an hour and 20-minute kick-off delay, which was really early here in the UK. But what was it like over there? Because Nedden was trying to explain to us that the American fans are just used to that.
Yeah, there was no fuss, no anything. Just as soon as it started, the warning came up on the screen, came out in the tannoy, everybody to go back into the concourse. People just were sitting with their beers, went up and walked back into the concourse, got a bite to eat, and was just waiting. So there was no panic because they're used to it. I mean, even the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday I was there, there was thunderstorms round about that time every day. So it's a time
we were struggling here. We had matchsticks in our eyes, and we were like, "Oh no, not another hour and 20 minutes to wait." It was.
Yeah, I was all right. I was sitting with my glass of wine.
Oh, okay. I imagine you found a bar.
There was one there, yeah. There was.
What was your strategy for staying awake, Steve?
There was no strategy because you're thinking it's late anyway, and you're thinking, well, it's not too bad really, and then an hour and 20 minutes, and you're like, I don't know. I just got on social media and just was talking to City fans and that, and but yeah, they seem to be used to it over there, like you say. But the lightning over there, and it looked crazy.
It's mental. It's as if somebody puts it's 36 degrees and sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, and it's as if somebody flicked a switch, and for the next hour 20 minutes, it absolutely teamed it down. And then it was as if the pitches
seem to cope. You know, over there, it's you know, remember last year in Tokyo we had similar weather and that, and but yeah, so it didn't affect. It's a bit later, but at least we got the game on.
Absolutely, we got the game on, and it was a very, very enjoyable game. Lots of plus points to take from it as well. So we are ready now to head over to our first live press conference of the evening, and we're going to be hearing for the first time this season from Josko Gvardiol. So let's go now.
Hi Josko, you've had a few days with the team now. How are you feeling? Are you feeling fit? And now you've had a couple of games and training sessions.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I've done 3 training sessions and let's say 90 minutes, 60 against Barcelona and 15-20 minutes against Milan. So yeah, I'm feeling great and looking forward to come back to Manchester and start the season.
The manager said something about the players and the squad might be a little bit undercooked and not as fresh as maybe some of the rivals just because you've not got as many first-team players there. Do you think that's going to be an issue at the start of the season?
I don't know, we will see. I mean, I cannot talk about that. All I can say is that we hope that when they come back, we will be strong as we were last season. And yeah, the thing is that we need to start the season on a high note, and especially there is a final that of course we want to win, and yeah, so let's go day by day and we'll see.
Just at the back in red, please, if we can get a mic there.
Thank you.
You had a very successful first year at Manchester City. How do you keep that going, and how do you follow that up this season?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it wasn't that easy, but yeah, my dream was always to come to England to play in Premier League. So once you get there, you just need to take the opportunity and use it. So obviously it wasn't that easy at the beginning, but yeah, with the time you just get used to it, and especially being with all the great teammates I have in my team, they make your job much easier. So yeah, I'm really happy for the season I had last season. Yeah.
Just at the back in orange,
last year,
please.
Sorry.
Josko, you just admitted you had a very difficult start to the season, but you settled and got along very well getting to the latter part of the season.
Sorry, I cannot hear you. Can you say it again, please? Sorry.
Yeah, he's just...
You just admitted you had part of a difficult start to the season, last season, and that getting to the latter part of the season, you came up so well, especially with goal scoring. Are there aspects of your game that you intend to take on beyond goal scoring going into your second season?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't expect from myself that I'm gonna score 5 goals in my first season. Normally, my first 2 years in Leipzig, and the only 2 years, I mean, I've scored just 4 goals in total. So I didn't expect that, but I can't complain. Besides the goals, I've had a couple of assists as well. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna continue that way in a new season, and yeah, we will see.
Just at the front here, please.
Hi, Josko. Gustavo Luques over here. Welcome to Columbus. And ask you, what is special for you or for your team to come to US and doing pre-season, having the support for the fans and all the city that you play so far?
Yeah, thank you very much, first of all. Yeah, it's really nice to come to US. It's my first time being here with Manchester City, and I really like it. It's just different than being in Europe, especially when we were in New York. We had an opportunity to train in the Central Park, so we are also looking forward to face Chelsea tomorrow here in Columbus. And yeah, once again, happy to be here, and I believe the other guys are happy as well.
Just at the back there, please.
Hi there. There's been some discussions, maybe from fans, about someday playing a regular season Premier League game in the United States. I wonder what your thoughts on that might be.
So was the whether there should be games that are Premier League games out in the United States?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it would be nice to play in the US, but to be fair, it's quite far, and to travel 7-8 hours, maybe even more, depends where you play. I think that's the part we would like to avoid, but yeah, I'm not the one who's going to decide, so yeah.
Any more? Just here, please.
Hi, Josko. Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Just wanted to ask you, how much do you know about American football, and just what's it been like to kind of see Ohio State being here in Columbus?
I don't know that much about American football, but yeah, I know that it's not the most popular sport it is not, right? But it's also big, and I know that every final it's most of the time in Europe, and yeah, I mean it's a big sport, and yeah, if we talk about Ohio, we haven't had that much time to visit the state and everything, especially the city. So who knows? Maybe one day when I retired, I'm gonna have enough time to visit all the US. So yeah, that's all, more or less.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time, guys.
So that was Josko Gvardiol speaking live in the pre-match press conference this evening. We will shortly also be hearing from Pep Guardiola, who's been on cracking form this tour. Of course, this is all ahead of the Chelsea game that takes place tomorrow night. So it's a 10:30 p.m. kickoff UK time. And as with all of the pre-season friendlies, you can watch the game live on City Plus in the UK and in many other countries around the world. Get onto the Manchester City website and double check in your country where you can watch it. But certainly in the UK, get yourself set up, subscribe nice and early to City Plus, and then you're ready for the season ahead as well. So we heard from Josko there, and you know, journalists sometimes ask the meaty questions, and I think we all wanted to know, how much does Josko Gvardiol know about American football? So, Big Steve, how much do you know about American football?
0.
Great. Paul?
As much as Josko and Steve.
That's what I was thinking. I love that. I was thinking, gosh, you've got him here. You've got him here. You can ask him anything. You want to know that. What they did ask him, though, was about his goals and his assists from last season. And we know how pivotal and how important key goals from Josko towards the back end of the season. I mean, do you think we might see some more goals from him next season, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think he wanted the season to end. You know what I mean? Everything started to happen for him towards the end of the season, but we were speaking off air, me and Paul. He's been a fantastic signing, and he's come in. We all probably know his best position was his centre back. He's played at left back, and he's just gone from strength to strength. And he's only a young lad, you know what I mean. In his first season in the Premier League, to do what he did, and come out of it with a league champion, you know what I mean. And I bet he's eager to just get back to business and just carry on. And it'd be very interesting. We have seen on the pre-season tour he has played at centre-back. Whether Pep sees him as a centre-back or a left-back, or maybe he's just going to, you know, come in between. I can sort of see similarities with John Stones in him. You know, the way he carries the ball out of defence and can come into the middle of the park. I feel like his future might lie there. But what a signing for Manchester City he's been, and yeah, I'm looking forward to him starting the season wherever he plays.
And I loved hearing him talk about his teammates, and he was saying, you know, it was easy to settle in because he had such great teammates, and that's always wonderful to hear.
It is, but I think we know the changing room here is very special. You know, every player that comes in talks about how they're welcomed, how it's such an easy changing room to go into. But Josko's a young boy, I think he was 21 when he signed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Coming in, it would have been difficult for him. But the short time I spent out in Orlando, you can tell that team spirit's there as well. You know, the lads are joking, they're banter and everything else. But going back to what Steve's, I love him as a player. When you think he's only 22 years old, I think he's got everything. Like I said before on the show, we spoke to Mateo Kovacic about him, and he said already well, 2 years ago he changed the way Croatia wanted to play football, as in playing out for the back. He said he's like a shining beacon for all the other players, young Croatian defenders coming through, because he can defend, but he's so good on the ball that he can make that step into midfield and drag other players out. And I thought he answered the questions well there, because there were some rubbish questions.
Rubbish
that he
ones,
as well.
yeah.
Absolutely awful.
Completely agree. What a waste of a press conference for him. Wonderful player and also wonderful, wonderful person. A really, really hilarious man as well. So thank you there. That was Josko Gvardiol's live press conference. We're going to go back over now to Ohio because we're going to hear from Pep Guardiola.
Hi, Pep. First of all, how's Erling Haaland and how's his injury?
Much better. Told me today wake up much better, and hopefully tomorrow can play a few minutes.
Can I ask as well, the club were charged £2 million by the Premier League for late kickoffs and restarts. Do you have any comment on that?
I read the news when appear, so I will try to do my speeches in the halftime shorter.
Just here, please, next to you, Joe.
Hola Pep, Gustavo Luques, bienvenido a Columbus, Ohio. Un par de preguntas, si me lo permites. La primera, ¿qué sabes de Columbus? Te han hablado de la ciudad, del equipo local del Columbus Crew. Y la segunda, hace unos días Unai Emery estuvo en esta sala de prensa y alababa mucho al técnico del Crew porque su equipo perdió 4-1 y decía que aporta mucho al fútbol, su velocidad, su versatilidad. ¿Qué crees que ha aportado el fútbol actualmente en los Estados Unidos al mundo en general?
Creo que Estados Unidos se merece una muy buena liga de fútbol. Cada año tengo la sensación desde fuera que está mejor y mejor. No puedo dar una opinión muy fidedigna porque la seguimos poco, porque tenemos mucho trabajo. Pero cuando ves el resultado de Columbus, que ganó un equipo tan fuerte como el Aston Villa, te demuestra de que están haciendo bien las cosas. Ojalá siga creciendo y creciendo con personas que vienen de Europa, como Messi y compañía, y con buenos entrenadores, y que esto se traslade a la selección y que en América siga creciendo.
Just pass behind you, please.
Hi, Pep.
Hi.
Ben Jacobs from TalkSport. A word on Enzo Maresca. They're calling him Diet Pep. What do you make of that nickname, and have you spoken to him and offered any advice since he got the Chelsea job?
Like you, but not quite you.
It's for the her. For the beer, so I'm really pleased. So we spent especially 1 year, but more than when we was in the second team together. He's an incredible, lovely person, and his family. So he make a really good job. Unbelievable in Leicester, promoting the Premier League and now being one of the top 5-6 teams in England. And I wish him all the best because he deserves it. Nice people deserve the best, and as a manager, he has success because he's the most important thing to be a manager is believe in something deeply, but deeply. And whatever results, stick with my idea, and that's why he believes in what he does, and we will have success. I don't know how long, but he will have it.
Just a quick word on Julian Alvarez as well. The latest reports suggest Atletico Madrid might make a bid. What's the latest you can tell us?
No news. I don't have any news.
Hi, Pep. You'll play Chelsea in a couple of weeks in the Premier League as well. Is that ideal for you to get to know how Chelsea have changed over the summer a little bit? Does it give you some clues? And also, does it change the way you're set up so as not to give things away?
It is what it is. We have a 70% of the team, 80% of the team not here. So I don't know which team will be there. So when make the pre-season, we didn't know the calendar for the Premier League. So it's what it is. So adapt, and it's a help to the young players to grow up in every game, and especially, no injuries, the fit conditions, every time you add minutes to your body, so we'll be better.
Just at the back in red, please.
Pep, first of all, welcome to Columbus in Ohio.
Thank you.
You've been to America before for preseason training with different clubs. What makes this year so much different and maybe even more exciting with Manchester City?
Well, normally we come here with 80% of the first team, and now we arrive here just with 20% of the first team. That is a big difference. Because this question, you cannot work anything because they deserve the holidays. Look, Julian deserves now to take his time, what he needs, to come back, you know, clean, not just with the legs, that the people say is the legs, and especially staff here, because play every 3 days in front of 65, 70,000 people or 50,000 people is so exhausting. For responsibility, for the, you know, to do you well, and any one of us in front of 65, you want to perform bad. And that demands of a lot of energy, not just physicality. Is when the people don't understand it, and that's why they need break, and that's why they are in holiday. That's why they could not come here. The fans would love it, I would love it, but the players need rest. This is the biggest difference from the previous times.
In orange, please.
Pep, you just mentioned that they are calling Maresca died because of the head. There is a generation of coaches in the Premier League now. You are more like the grandfather in the Premier League now, looking at your rivals. Arsenal have Arteta, but there is a change at Liverpool, there is a change at Chelsea. There is changes everywhere. How are you going to come up with such opposition, knowing that the previous managers are different from what these clubs have now? Secondly, after such a long period of very significant success, how are you motivated to continue?
They offer me a job. So, and I like it. So I'm fortunate to have a job. I know when you win, you have more chance to continue, but this is the point. In the first question, can you help me?
It changes with the other managers, so Liverpool have changed, Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
How do you keep up with that when you've been
Oh yeah.
on your team?
Yeah, I'm almost, I don't know, maybe I'm one of the oldest ones in terms of the same club. So, yeah, it's world football. So when you don't have results, the boards before maybe had, especially in England, had more patience. And now they change, and always you changes to improve. And seasons too long, and we see step by step. But, yeah. So adapt the new managers, try to discover what they want to do, because when we play against managers, you play 10 times, 12 times in the last year, so we know each other quite well, but the new managers try to understand what they do, but we have time for that. We have time.
The lady in the middle here, please.
Thank you. I'm Helga from the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation.
Good.
It's good to have you here, Coach. You've been a top-class coach, and you've chucked a lot of successes. I would want to know your impression specifically about the United States soccer, and especially the MLS. And then, if I'm allowed to deviate, are we seeing Pep Guardiola becoming the next England coach?
Every time ask me the question. I'm a manager for Man City, so I'm here. I'm really pleased, and I cannot say anything. So I don't know where I come from, but I'm really satisfied here, and we'll see what happens. I'm desperate when the players are ready to come back, to start to train all together and refresh what we have to do, add something maybe in our future. And what I said, your colleague, so I think MLS is getting better and better. People like Messi come in this country and playing this. You know, I hear that when Messi play away from Miami, newer stadiums like here, for example, Columbus, NFL stadiums, where the ticketing is 3 or 4 times, you know, higher than usual. So the impact that shows how he is, and I would say with him, and of course another good managers, and every time is better. But at the same time, when we are in Europe, we play every 3 days. We are not paying much attention, maybe highlights, but not much attention how is, you know, develop the MLS. But I hope so. I hope so. In a few years, can be one of the strongest teams. They can recruit the good players, because the good players make good football, and the people go to the stadium for them. Hopefully, it's going to happen sooner or later, more and more.
2 more questions, guys. It goes to the gentleman in the cap here, and then the gentleman in front of him, please.
Welcome to Columbus, Pep.
Thank you.
How have the conditions been here stateside during your preseason tournament, and how might that affect future competitive games like the Club World Cup next year in the United States?
Wow, World Cup is a long time ago, so 11 months until it's going to happen. So many things going to happen in the meantime, and yeah, I learned when you come in this type of tours, a lot of troubles and a lot of humidity is keep the energy during the game for the day of the game. So the rest is just train a little bit, refresh concepts, no waste too much energy, work more tactically and in terms of physicality, do it everything during the game. Otherwise, humidity and the distances, and you get injured, you have niggles, you cannot play the games, and it's even worse. So that's why it's, when I started as a manager, we train morning, afternoon, even night, and now it's completely the opposite. It's just one training a day, relax, and especially give a lot of energy. In the next 3 or 4 weeks, I will have Community Shield and the 3 Premier League games, have long weeks. In these moments, have to try to drop as less points as possible, and being all together, refresh what we want to do.
Last question there, please.
Hi, Mr. Pep. Matt Gurridge with 11 Warriors in Ohio State football. City has won 4 consecutive Premier League titles, and you've also found success in the Champions League and the FA Cup. Ohio State football, the team and the players always talk about the grind and how difficult it is to continue to play at such a high level.
Yeah.
How do you stay hungry and motivated? And what advice would you give to Ryan Day and his team on how to stay elite? And after this question, I have one fun one for you.
Well, I'm fine. Still, I'm happy to do what we do, and the competition itself make you, the adrenaline, be ready to compete. Or the question how you motivate or how the team will be, we have to wait and how they come back, talk each other, and ask ourselves what is the next challenge, because we accomplish everything and multiple times. So that's why the tendency a little bit to relax can happen, but didn't happen in the past. So we try to avoid it again and try to be solid and consistent team when every year is more and more and more difficult. And we will see. So when we will be all together, we will chat, we will talk. We will see how the first games, our behaviors, our body languages, our performance, and we'll see.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And that was Pep Guardiola speaking live ahead of the open training session, which we will be showing you very shortly. My highlights from that press conference were that he was called Diet Pep, Grandad of the Premier League, and then Mr. Pep, the last journalist called him. I quite like that. How about Mr. Paul?
Mr. Paul, yeah, I like that.
Or do you want to be Grandad of Matchday Live? No, it's not nice, is it?
Not nice.
I'm not Diet Steve.
The journalists are certainly different out in Ohio. We'll give him that. And I felt sorry for that one at the end there. He wanted to get another question in, didn't he? And he didn't quite manage it. But as always, we got loads from Pep there. So right at the top, he was asked about Erling Haaland, and he said he was much better. He was hoping that he's going to get some minutes tomorrow. Has that news about Erling having, I forget the word he used, was it twinges, something like that? Is that worried you? Are you happy to know that he's better?
It hasn't worried me really, you know what I mean. He's played a lot of minutes this pre-season, Erling, as well, and he had a big rest in the summer. Obviously, Norway wasn't involved in the Euros, but he's a big lad. He's still growing and that, and you know he is out there working hard. So I'm not overly worried, but we do need him. You know, with only Pep saying only 20% of the squad there. And a lot of lads going to be missing for the Community Shield. I think Erling's going to be very, very important. So. I don't think he'll risk him tomorrow if it's going to be a problem. But he said there he hopes to give him minutes, so I don't think it's too serious.
Yeah, he was fine. He was fine the morning after the game.
Yeah.
He was running around and laughing and joking and just being a big kid. So I can't see that being a problem myself.
Oh, the inside scoop we get. Yeah, and of course commiserations to Julian Alvarez as well, because Argentina were knocked out of the Olympics this evening. So he'll go on his break now, but he certainly won't be back for the Community Shield. So yeah, totally agree about Erling there. So he mentioned a lot of other things. He was obviously asked about Enzo Maresca. The Diet Pep reference really got me, Paul. The way he had to look to Alex, the press officer, and ask for some help there. Diet Pep? How taking that?
I just think that's American humour that's rubbish, actually, if I'm
Terrible.
completely
Yeah,
honest,
terrible,
isn't it? Yeah. But he answered it. I think he bought himself a bit of time by asking Alex what to give his answer, but he speaks very highly of Enzo. I know his time here, he was well thought of. I know at Leicester last season, the players, everybody loved him.
Yeah.
His man management, his style of play, very similar to Pep. I know Enzo's, I think he came out today saying that he's completely different from Pep, but if you watch the sessions and you watch how the team's set up, you can tell there's a big influence there from him. And, you know, he'll have his work cut out with Chelsea, the amount of players they've got there and how the board work there and everything else. But at the same time, he's got the makings of being a top manager.
It was interesting when he was later referred to as the grandfather of the Premier League, which I thought was a little disrespectful. I think I would have called him the father of the Premier League.
The Godfather.
Yes, that's what we needed, Paul. That's much more respectful. Because then you've got Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, you've got Enzo Maresca at Chelsea, you know, which is like his kids, and then you've got him as the dad, which makes more sense to me. But the Enzo Maresca situation for the game is really interesting tomorrow, because obviously he was manager of our under-23s in the PL2. He won it with Cole Palmer, with James McAtee, with a lot of the other names. He went to Leicester and now he's at Chelsea. Has his progress, the speed of his progress, surprised you at all?
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, you don't often see managers go that route. He did really well with Leicester last season, and I thought he's going to come to the Premier League and he's going to stick to his philosophy. And then a big club like Chelsea have come knocking. They obviously believe in him. And like what we've seen pre-season, I've seen little clips, and he looks like he's in the Pep mould, isn't it? You look across Europe now, these managers and who are starting to do well, who have all got a connection to Pep Guardiola somewhere down the line. So I feel like Pep's influencing a lot of these managers now. And but this is Chelsea. It's a big club. The hierarchy, it's easy for me to say, at Chelsea can't always be the easiest to deal with. So I'm interested to see how he copes. And there's a lot of players at Chelsea, there's a lot of egos at Chelsea, there's a lot of young lads coming through and senior players there. And I feel like sometimes the managers at Chelsea haven't got that balance right. So I'm just very interested to see if he can come in and galvanise the team and do well in his first season. I wish him all the best, just not tomorrow and on the first game of the season, obviously.
Especially not on the first game of the season at Stamford Bridge.
I think what Steve said there, he's made a big statement today as well. I know Pep saying what a lovely guy he is, and everybody talks what a lovely guy he is. You know, if you believe what's come out of Chelsea today, he's told
Conor Gallagher,
who was probably the most consistent player, captained the team a lot, and he said that he's not going to be involved in the first team, so it doesn't suit his style of play. Now, what that'll do straight away, his teammates will be looking at Enzo Maresca now and thinking, we can't mess with this guy. No, you know, Conor Gallagher, captain, big influence in the changing room, and he's come in and he's went...
I think it's shocking.
It keeps everybody on their toes. As a manager, a new manager going into a club, you have to make a statement very quickly.
Yeah.
For the rest of the egos in the changing room and people that might think he's a young manager, he's only had one season at Leicester, we'll work him out, because that's what players do when they sit in the changing room. The fact that he's come in and made a statement like that, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a few more, will keep them all on their toes now.
Certainly an eye-raiser, that one, given, like you say, he was captain last season. He's Chelsea Academy, he's Chelsea through and through. The fans absolutely love him. Yeah. He was obviously at the Euros with England, so he's not going to be playing tomorrow. He's not in the squad, much like our players as well. I just feel like it's beyond ruthless, Steve. Did you find that news today that a bit shocking?
Well, Pep's done a couple of them in his career, hasn't he, when he's gone in clubs and, you know, he's got rid of players that we all loved and stuff. So this just might be his way. I think he's looking at the Chelsea midfield. There's a lot of players in there, Caicedo, Romeo Lavia and people like that, who he might think they can do that job better than Conor, get the money in and strengthen somewhere else. But it's a brave decision. We know Chelsea and Chelsea fans, and like you say, the club is not the easiest when it comes to managers. You know, they do chop and change a lot. But no, I think a lot of Chelsea fans will be refreshed with that, knowing that he's come in there and he's not been intimidated by, you know, egos and reputations, and he's doing his own thing. So we'll soon find out, Paul.
I think the proper fans, Steve, and you know this yourself, that there'll be a few raised eyebrows, but at the same time, they'll be thinking, this guy's got a bit about him. To come in and do that, well, let's see what he does after that as well.
Yeah, we will see as well. We'll see if Conor Gallagher's in the Chelsea squad when we play them on the opening day of the Premier League. You're seeing the live shots from the training session behind us. Oh, the rain is pouring down on them again. Look at that, crikey! Hey, we've been taking the Manchester rain wherever we go on this tour, haven't we? But it has started. Pep has gone straight out from his press conference. You've got some brave American fans there in their shirts and their rain jackets as well. So, yeah, we're seeing everybody that we're expecting to see so far out there. There's Oscar Bob creeping into the bottom of the picture. Before we go on to talk about the Barcelona game a little bit more, Pep said a couple of other interesting things. He was asked if the fact that we're playing Chelsea is going to change, and we're playing them on the first day of the Premier League, is going to change the way he's set up. But I thought it was fairly a ridiculous question, considering the team's going to be completely different given that day. But he was also asked if he thinks Enzo Maresca is going to change his setup. But it just feels like this pre-season game tomorrow and the game that we're going to play in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so close. The teams are just going to be so different.
Yeah, they will. They will. Probably 75% of both teams will be different as well. And you know, Pep's mentioned it again there in his press conference. I think every press conference he's had pre-season, he's said it. The players, the staff, everybody involved in the club and around the hotel was saying the same thing. It's just no injuries. You know, make sure you get through pre-season, you get the work in that you need to get into your legs, get your fitness levels up, get some match time in your legs, sharpen your brain a little bit. And any pre-season, look, that's probably the only thing that's not changed from when I played is you get through your pre-season with your squad fully fit, ready to go at the start of the season. And tomorrow night, Pep and Enzo will be keeping their fingers crossed that that's the case, going into the Community Shield, and then I can't believe it's 2 and a bit weeks till the season starts. Can't believe it, but I can't wait.
Same, I'm exactly the same. I can't wait. Really nice to see Erling as well in the back of the shot. He's smiling and laughing there with Jack, warming up there, looking happy, looking fit.
At least I was doing that dance for your TikTok there that you were doing before, wasn't it?
I had Paul and Big Steve doing a TikTok dance. Well, actually, Paul didn't dance. You stood in the background, didn't you?
Yeah, you don't want to see me dancing.
One day.
Paul was the grandfather of the TikTok there.
I'll take that.
Frowning upon it.
Love that. So we'll keep showing you these live training shots, and very shortly we'll be going over live to FG, who will be pitchside. I'm looking down at my notes. Anything else that Pep said there? He was asked about the MLS and the Messi effect. We get that. And then he was asked about the Club World Cup, in which he replied that is 11 months away. So yes, I very much enjoyed Pep's press conferences. So we've seen we've seen 4 press conferences for Pep over this pre-season tour. What's been your general sort of Pep feeling in this pre-season? He seems invigorated.
Yeah, I think he's looked relaxed and he's looked refreshed, and you know, we see him at the end of the season. It's so intense, and we're coming to every end of a competition, and he's looking really focused and stuff. And it was good to see him. You know, he's having a bit of a laugh and a joke. We've seen him with supporters. You know, the guy signed his leg the other day. He signed that guy's leg the other day and things like that. And he just looks like he's relaxed. And he mentioned it there. He's looking forward to getting the whole squad back together and starting the training. I just think he's that kind of guy. He just can't wait now for the Community Shield and the season to start the week after at Chelsea.
And that guy got the tattoo, did you see?
He did,
I saw it on the social media post after he went and got the tattoo of Pep's autograph, which, yeah, respect. How have you found Pep in these press conferences? Because I told you when you came in as well, Mr. Paul, that you were looking very youthful today, and I think...
Nobody said that to me for about 30 years. Youthful, so.
I think you and Pep have been sharing skincare.
We shared the sunbed the other day there for a couple of hours, that's what it was. I think he looks refreshed, as you said it. He looks as if he's ready to go again. You know, he's said, I think it was the first one before the Celtic game, what a good summer he had, good holidays. You know, he was at Wimbledon, he was at the basketball, spent a lot of time with his family, and now he's back, refreshed and ready to go. And he's not always been like that pre-season. Sometimes the pre-season looks as if it's kind of a little bit too soon for him. Yeah. It's been a little bit too much, especially when you travel to Asia and visit different countries as well. But no, he looks great. He's on form with his answers, even though the questions haven't been great. And he'll be looking forward to getting the game out of the way tomorrow night in the nicest possible way. Getting back here next week, getting your De Bruyne's, your Fodens, getting all the players back in here again, getting to work with them, ready for the start of the season.
Yeah, getting back to Manchester and getting a full solid week here before they have to travel down to...
And getting some proper training time. It's been difficult out there because, you know, the travelling, the amount of appearances that the players have had to do. You know, it's not always been ideal for them to get everybody in the pitch at the same time. So once they're back here at this beautiful training ground next week, they'll be getting ready to go.
Absolutely, and then we really are on countdown for the new season starting. So just a reminder, the Chelsea game tomorrow night is available for you to watch live on City Plus in the UK and in many other countries around the world as well. Get yourselves onto the City website, have a look where you are watching from, and it'll tell you how you can watch the game tomorrow night. It is 10:30 p.m. UK time kickoff tomorrow, and we'll of course be here. I'll be in the studio with the other Steve. Is he full fat Steve? Steve Howie?
Yes, he is, yeah.
If you're diet Steve, we've got full fat Steve.
Yeah, full fat Stevie Howie, yeah.
I'll tell him.
Taking that.
I'll tell him. And then we've also joined by Nicky Weaver, so...
Oh, bloody hell, that's a duo and a half, that. I could tell you some stories about they two, but we've not got long enough on the show.
Oh, God. Wish me luck then, Paul.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. I'm going to be playing a game of Matchday Live Bingo with them as well, which they don't know about yet, so
Brilliant.
that'll be very fun. But, of course, tomorrow is the 4th of our 4 pre-season games. The 3rd was Barcelona, and, of course, Paul was there. So I'd love to get both of your thoughts. You were watching at home, Steve. You were watching the stadium, Paul, about the game. So, first of all, mention to Jack Grealish. Wonderful to see him on the score sheet.
It was, and you know, Jack, just seen him even in the games before and been out there, he's got the bit between his teeth, and this is Jack back to his best. You know, he's got one thing, and what I loved about that, 9 times out of 10, Jack would have looked to bring it back in his right foot.
I agree.
You know, but sometimes people are screaming for him to take it on the outside, but what a run by Kovacic beforehand.
Oh, brilliant.
He puts the burners on here. I love him. What a fantastic player
Love
he is.
him.
You know, and it's all taking 3 players out of the game, but then the peace of mind to the weight of the pass and everything else, and that touch and that finish is fantastic. And Jack's got a lot of minutes under his belt pre-season, which going into the season is going to do him an absolute world of good. He looks super fit, I've got to say as well. You know, and he looks lean. He looks a little bit quicker than he was at the start of last season. And he's got a point to prove this year. He knows that himself. You know, he was devastated with what happened in the summer, and he's going to use that to really push himself on next year and get back to the Jack that we know, the Jack that we've seen in the treble-winning season, because he was a massive part of that for us.
Yes, please. Brilliant to see him on the score sheet, and you and I both big Kovacic fans.
Yeah.
I often talk about how much I love him on this programme. It was a serious run, that, wasn't it?
Great. He's very, very good at what he does. You know, he's not frightened to go into them tight spaces, and if you give him the ball in the tight areas, he manages to turn quick and get away. And that's what happened there. We turned so quick and he was away, and we caught him on the counter-attack, and everything about the move was brilliant. The final ball to Jack was great. And like what Paul said, we are used to Jack sometimes checking back and looking for somebody to pass to. And he had a goal this time and he scored. But he's definitely got a point to prove. We saw his press conference last game and he was so positive, and he took every question well. And he just basically said, he you know, open and honest, he was gutted he didn't make the England squad. But he's got a point to prove. He's come back early from pre-season. He's paid for extra training and stuff, and we're getting the rewards now. And like Paul said there, there is a little bit of something about him now, you know what I mean? Something extra, and great goal, and really good to see that pre-season, and hopefully he can be like a new signing.
That was direct, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And incisive. He had one thing in his head there, and that was to get the ball, draw the defender in, and get the shot off and goal.
Absolutely, and we all loved it. What we've also loved to see on this tour as well is how some of the academy players have been faring. And in this game, we got to see in particular Nico Riley, who in the first game you were raving about, Steve. This time we got to see him on the score sheet, and he took it so well. Let's have another look at the Nico Riley goal. Steve, what did you make of this?
Brilliant. Great ball by Josko Gvardiol, who we talked about before. And I mean, he's a great young player. He's been at this club since he's 6 years old. You know, I've always bigged him up on all the shows I've been involved in, and to see him take it like that and score, and then to see Pep Guardiola make some great comments about him this week in the press, saying that he can help with the Rodri situation, that to him that must be amazing. And he's had a great pre-season, and this is what it's all about. Seeing a young lad from Manchester scoring against Barcelona, you know, in the senior squad is fantastic, and I really hope he gets a chance to be in and around the first team this year. I hope so.
I think he will, because he's not looked at a place at all. He's looked as if he belongs in there. And he can play any role of that 3 in the midfield as well.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, the run he made for the pass was a striker's run. You know, he's bent his run, he's held it, he's timed his run. Great ball, but then the composure to finish it off as he did. And I thought it was interesting that Pep said he could see him playing in the Rodri role.
Yeah.
Well, this time last year, I watched him against Charlie. in a friendly, and he ran the show, and that's when I really started to take notice. And then fast forward, he's had an injury. Fast forward 12 months, he's playing Barcelona in America. So to all these young players in the academy, you know, if you're suffering a little injury or you think the pathway's a bit, you know, it looks a bit blocked, within 12 months, you know, you can be on that pitch scoring against Barcelona and Pep Guardiola saying you could be helping us out, you know, if Rodri's not playing. So it's great stuff. It's great to see.
I thought it was interesting that, because his time in the academy, we're used to him playing as a more attacking, more of a 10 or a left 8 or making runs in behind, creating things.
Never seen him.
You know, and it's Pep's obviously seen him in training and seen something that he thinks,
100%.
especially for him to come out and say it, because it's a big statement to make. That,
it is.
Because his size, his ability, his technical ability, his football brain, that he could see him playing in that position.
Brilliant.
We've seen Pep do it enough times, haven't we? Identify a position for a player that he wasn't playing at the time, and that player become worldy at that. Those comments were so interesting, and I know so many people found them fascinating, because we all worry about Rodri. We worry about the amount of games that he plays. So, given what you've both seen of Nico Riley, and now you sort of try and put your Pep head on, could you see him? Could you see him in that Rodri role?
Look, Pep sees a lot of things that I don't see. That happens every game, but for Pep to come out and say it, physically he's got the size to go and do it. Technically, there's no doubt about it. It's just such a hard role to play, and Rodri's positional sense is what makes him so good. He sees things that other people don't see. You know, he puts out so many fires when teams are trying to counter-attack us, but Nico's a young boy, and being in that environment, when he comes back here, being in the training environment with your Rodris, with your Kevin De Bruyne's, with your Kovacic, Bernardo Silva's, all these wonderful midfielders we've got, he's only going to improve and learn.
There's a reason you can't find a replacement for Rodri so easily, because you can't replace him. For me, we need somebody like Nico, if Pep believes in him, to just shadow Rodri, train with him every day, get involved in the games with him, put him up against Rodri in training, see what Rodri's doing compared to what he's doing. And if he's going to mould him into that position, then he's got to watch Rodri for me. You know what I mean? Rodri had a great tutor in Fernandinho when he first came. He sat back, he watched Fernandinho for a couple of seasons, then they sort of switched roles. If we can save a lot of money and get Nico in and around that area and doing that job, 10, 15 minutes a game, see the game out, you know, we're saving a lot of money, and it'd be brilliant to see him do that.
I'm gutted they took that clip off there, because that looked as if it was going to try to work out what the starting team was.
Oh, really?
They all jogged over to Pep while the other ones went off.
That's what happened the other night here. We've seen Calvin Phillips at centre-half.
Centre-half, in the training session.
Yeah.
OK, we'll hopefully get those pictures back.
There
we go. OK, so that is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's 9 of them there.
Yeah.
So add Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland, maybe.
Callum Doyle.
Guardiola. Calvin.
Rico.
Is that Kovacic with his back to us as well?
O'Reilly.
Josh.
He's a big lad, O'Reilly.
Yeah, he is.
Big lad.
Probably Erling's on
Roney. So could that be the bones of the team for tomorrow, you think?
And Erling, I would say.
Yeah.
They've done this the other night there. Erling joined the other group.
Yeah.
And just basically stayed up as a centre forward. It was interesting to watch, because all the other teams were doing a possession, and they just concentrated on Erling holding up the ball. So every time the team got 8 passes or 6 passes to score a goal, they had to Erling, then it was in his chest, and Erling had to play 2-touch to play it back in again into the thing. But that 9 went away, and Erling joined the other lot purely to work on his hold-up play.
Oh,
I love that. I love that we've just seen that as well. But looking at that, I'm quickly running the names through my head. That would be another Calvin Phillips, Josko Gvardiol, centre-back.
Callum Doyle's there as well.
Callum Doyle was there.
Yeah, but they played more as a 3, didn't they?
Yeah.
The other night there. So whether that's a 3 with Rico pushing into midfield.
Where's Josh then? Did I see Josh?
Esbran was there.
Yeah, well, maybe. Back 4.
Back 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Calvin in midfield with
Calvin back up to midfield, yeah.
And Nico O'Reilly,
just in front.
Who knows, as always, the amount of time we spend on this show going, who's going to play where?
And we're wrong all the time, aren't we?
No, we are.
It comes out.
We are. Yeah. So the Barcelona game, any other sort of positives? You were there live, Paul. What was the kind of key, apart from Jack and Nico, other positives you took from the game?
I thought Calvin done really well in that position at centre-half.
Yeah.
You know, I think having everything in front of him really suited him. You know, a lot of the times he's coming in with his back to play, and people are nibbling at him, trying to win it off him. I thought Callum Doyle done really well when he came on. The tempo of the game impressed me, especially in the first half, because usually the pre-season games, when we've seen in the heat, it's been a little bit
Barca
slow.
were good with the ball.
Barca were fantastic with the ball. I liked how we pressed them. So yeah, it was just that next level again from the two previous games that we've seen before, as in the intensity that you're getting, and I'm sure that intensity will kick up a little bit more again tomorrow.
Absolutely, thank you so much. So we're going to head live now over to Ohio. Oh, hello, FG! Taking on Joleon's drip levels tonight, have you?
There they are.
Yeah, I've raided Joleon Lescott's cupboard.
Wait, no, you haven't. Looking like that. No, you have not raided anything of mine.
I was trying to be nice. I was complimenting you.
Compliment yourself.
I was complimenting you. Thank you for joining us all. I hope Steve, Paul and Nat are doing very well in the studio. Here we are, the home of Columbus crew. The players are warming up behind us for our final pre-season game of the US Tour, Shaun. It's gone pretty quick the last few days, haven't they?
Yeah, that's normally what happens when you get over that halfway market. The trip seems to speed up, and I think it's been a fantastic trip. The young boys have got loads of experience. The senior guys, I think, in many ways are getting what they need out of the games and trying to stay fit as well going into the season pretty much shortly after this trip. So I think I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow to see them up against another Premier League side as well.
Joleon, let's talk about pre-season as a whole. We always started off and the message was always clear. Players getting fit, players getting sharper, and we've seen them over the games get sharper, and we expect the same tomorrow against Chelsea.
Yeah, hopefully the same, and again, to come out with the fourth game with no injuries, touch wood, that's the objective. Pep spoke about that, obviously, before the first game, so to get through the games, having not rotated as much as I probably thought they would have, he put it down as a good pre-season.
It's been a very good pre-season. How have you found Ohio? So we've not been here for too long. Have you had much chance to do anything?
No, we haven't, to be fair. We went on a short walk to try and find some lunch earlier because obviously we didn't get back in time to have our lunch, but we haven't really had time to explore or anything, just doing what we're here to do and preparing for the build-up for the game.
A word on this place as well, Joleon. It's really impressive, isn't it? On our right-hand side, as we look at it, there's like a sort of ultra stand, fully standing. I imagine the atmosphere in this stadium is something.
Yeah, the reigning champions as well, MLS. So they said they sold out last season, they sold out this season. So yeah, you can imagine the atmosphere is pretty intense here, which is what they tried to create. The capacity is, I think, it's like 21,000. So the smaller numbers obviously create a large sound.
I'll have to lollipop you in a minute, by the way, because I've just heard that your mic isn't quite there. But we'll come to you, Shaun, anyway.
No surprise.
We'll come to you, Shaun. The players behind us, very, very relaxed. They're in a great mood. Last pre-season game, but still a massive opportunity for some of the younger players.
Yeah, of course. They have to take it as an opportunity because in many ways this is a one-off chance for so many of them to be thrust into a pre-season tour and into the senior squad. I think with Euros has obviously helped in that sense, but they got to grab that chance and take it by the scruff of the neck and say, look, this is what I can bring to this team, and I want to stay here. So,
Joleon, I want to speak to you about the centre half, Calvin Phillips, in the last game. He did really well. He sprayed the ball really well. We know how good his passing range is. Do you expect him to potentially continue there tomorrow?
Yeah, again, having looked at training and the setup of training, you probably would anticipate him playing there. We had a brief chat with him about him playing there, and he said he enjoys it because you get on the ball a lot, obviously, in this team. But I'm sure he sees his long-term future as a midfielder. But like we said, in Pep's team, you may have to alter your position. But as long as you're on the ball, as he enjoyed, I'm sure he's happy to play.
Did you ever have moments, Shaun, in your career where you played in positions that potentially you weren't massively familiar with, but it's a learning opportunity, I guess, as well, to play in that team?
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of people remember I started as a winger, and then when Kevin Keegan comes, I ended up playing right wing back, which to start with I didn't really have a clue how to play, but with the guidance of some experienced defenders alongside me and just using what I've learned in attack, I managed to make it work. So it can happen to anyone, and you just got to be ready. And like Joleon said, in a team like Pep, you hardly ever play really in your normal position. If you look at Ake, he's playing left back. Josko, the same thing, left back. That's just the Pep way, isn't it, really?
It's total football, isn't it? Our defenders are playing incredible passes. We saw the Josko assist in the last game. The assist that we saw was to a man that everyone's talking about at the minute, Joleon, Nico O'Reilly. It's been a breakthrough pre-season for him. Do you expect him to be with the first team next year?
Yeah, you would anticipate that. His performances would warrant that, especially in the last game. I think you've seen a genuine progression from the Celtic game. I think he was probably surprised by the speed of Celtic and where they were in their pre-season, but going into the Barcelona game, he definitely showed what he's capable of.
When you look at him, Shaun, and you look at his qualities and his height, I mean, the thing that's so impressive for me is that the height of him and how well he moves still, regardless of that. He has still got a lot to grow. He's got probably a lot of muscle to build, etc. He could really form into some athleticism, and he's already got that already, but in the midfield he's got so much more to give.
Oh, 100%. And like I can't remember, I think it was you, Joleon, or you, that what I was speaking to about, and it just amazes me how many quality left midfielders in that similar position that City have built and made into the player they are, and he's just another one, but just taller, and he's got, if he feels that, he might have a build like Yaya, where like once he gets going, if he gets to that physical presence, the way he dribbles with the ball, it'll be very hard to knock him off the ball.
Yeah, he absolutely will. Now, we're about to bring a very special guest in here from the NBA, Alex Caruso, who's actually... well, he's definitely not small. I'm glad that he stood on that side. Nice to meet you, Alex. First things first, Alex, we have to talk about your love for this football club, because we understand you're a massive Manchester City fan.
It's easy to talk about. Let's do it.
Yeah. So what was it that started your love for Man City?
It was actually, so it's the friends I'm here with today. They're running around here doing something, but my best friends growing up, probably since, we were toddlers, and then they sat us down probably like 10, 11 years ago. Started playing FIFA. We would wake up early and grab breakfast tacos, watch Premier League 6, 8 in the morning, and they just found City and fell in love with them, and we've been, die hard since.
Can you remember the moment 93-20 happened?
Yeah, that's great. I watch that by myself on YouTube every now and then, just for the goosebumps.
I don't. No, that's so much. I think it's only right then, Joleon, to ask Alex exactly what you thought of that season, in particular this man who was absolutely incredible that year.
Yeah, there's a reason he's still around. He's a legend. all those guys, the Toure brothers are the ones that I miss the most, that I love watching, just the energy that they played with, and Yaya speaks for himself. That dude's
very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, it was an incredible season. Thank you again, Joleon. We'll never stop thanking you for that one. Shaun, first things first, it's a good job we're on this side, isn't it, mate? Because there's two very tall men on our left-hand side.
Yeah, well, I made a point to tell Graham at the start of the show, don't put me on that side, because I didn't want to be in the middle.
You used to be in the tallest one around.
I was pretty tall, to be fair. There was a few of us back then, though. But it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Shaun was never that.
Well, I'm the small guy. That's what everybody, when they see me for the first time, they're like, "Oh, you're a lot taller in person." Because when you see me on TV, I'm playing with monsters. These dudes are 7 foot tall.
Sorry, I just need to ask you that again. Did you just say you're one of the small players?
Yeah, dude, I'm one of the smaller guys.
Wow.
It's insane. It's a different world. Smaller court, bigger guys.
Yeah, it's definitely a different world, especially for me and Shaun. Let's talk about your career then. How's everything going? What are the expectations for the year ahead?
It's been going great. So I just had to move to Oklahoma City from Chicago. Enjoyed my time in Chicago. Great city, great fans. The tradition there is amazing. But Oklahoma City, I got great repertoire with the coach. He coached me when I first got into professional basketball my first year, and now he's the head coach for that team. I'm one of the old guys now. I'm 30, and feel like I got a lot to give to the game. Yeah. And the rest of the team's 24 to 26, and some are even younger than that. So I'm excited just to feel their energy and get behind it and play some good games and hopefully have a lot of success.
You been watching the Olympics?
Yeah, of course. I gotta wake up early, but yeah.
Well, who surprised you? Any surprises out there?
Honestly, for our team, for the USA, I know what all those guys can do, and they look like a real team. Like, it's not just like an all-star game. They're playing real basketball. But I have some buddies on the German team, Dennis Schroeder, Mo Wagner. I played with Mo and Dennis both, and Isaac Bonga, play with him in LA now. They got a good team. They're probably the biggest threat, I think, for USA basketball. But honestly, basketball is not even my favorite sport to watch. Like, I like watching the random ones, like the team handball, the table tennis. Yeah. I saw the one they had this year, the pistol shooting. I'd never seen that before.
You see the Turkish guy?
Yeah, he just posted up. Nothing, no eyes, no goggles or anything.
Yeah, man, I see that.
Yeah, that guy's a G.
Now, these two gents have tried a bit of basketball whilst they've been in the US. Shaun, would you like to tell them how it went?
Miles off it.
Oh, no.
I was.
Was that New York?
No, we went to North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
We went to, obviously, the Michael Jordan Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah,
UNC?
There was no inspiration for us there. Well, for me, anyway.
The the layup that she asked us to do, it was 9 out of 10.
Yeah, she said
ranked hard.
She asked us to do a layup, so it was like going underneath the basket.
Oh, reverse?
Yeah.
That was kind of a complex move for people that don't play basketball.
Exactly. Yeah, she said it was a complex move for people that do play basketball.
No, that too. I was gonna say, like, that's not an easy task.
Let's have a word on the boss, who you can see on the screen right now, Pep Guardiola.
They got the replay?
This is live footage of the match.
Show me the reverse.
No, we could definitely go back now.
We'll save that for the archive.
Bloopers.
We'll get that, yeah. But a word on Pep Guardiola. Of course, you've watched City for so long. We're so lucky to have him as a manager.
Man, he's one of the best. I think the cool thing for me, just like, you know, being in pro sports and being around some great coaches, like his passion is like what you really want to, like. That's somebody you want to play for. You know, like the days it's not easy to come into the gym and give it every single day. Like everyone's got down days. But a coach like that, he just brings the best out of the players and gives you a lot of energy to play and play hard for them.
What would you think he'd be like as a basketball coach? Because you spent a bit of time with Boston Celtics as well.
I saw he was with Joe Mazzulla. Yeah. I was like, man, I was hoping I was going to break up. It's like the Celtics are good enough already. We don't need this guy like masterminding. And Joe's a great coach too. Like I'm sure he got some great tidbits and some learning advice from him. But Pep would be a great basketball coach. You know, I saw him sitting courtside at the finals game, and he looked like he was coaching the game. He looked like he was nervous, like over there, like plotting. I was like, this guy just lives and breathes competition.
Yeah, he's absolutely sensational, Shaun. I mean, Pep could probably manage every sport, do you think, in the world?
Yeah, I just think his love for wanting to win and compete and do it his way is always going to be there. And you've seen it with City over the years, how he can just tinker with little positions and make it into his own way and just make City into a beautiful footballing team and go on to just continuously win stuff.
Let's get your final thoughts then for tomorrow's game, the game against Chelsea. How do you think that one's going to go?
Well, so I was talking with some people earlier. Each game is like the intensity's kind of picked up and ramped up a little, and a couple of the older guys have come back now from the international competitions to join the team. I think tomorrow is going to be, you know, it's going to be high intensity. I think Chelsea and City, every time they get on the pitch together, it's always a good competition. And, you know, Chelsea has a little bit of proving to do, climb back from where they've been the last couple of years. And City's obviously the benchmark, right? We call in basketball, when you play the best team, it's everybody's Super Bowl, right? It's like the big game for them every time they play. So I'm looking for a nice, healthy, competitive match. You know, obviously you don't want anybody in preseason. You make sure everyone gets to the starting line to start the season. But I think it'll be a high intensity, friendly.
Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. We're going to head back to the studio. We wish you so well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Keep flying the flag for Manchester City. We absolutely love that. We'll head back to the studio now. How do you guys reckon Big Steve and Paul Dickov and Natalie would do at basketball?
Paul?
Big
no
Steve,
chance.
maybe.
Paul's smaller than me, so there's no chance he'll do anything on the court.
Thanks, FG.
Anything to say, Paul?
Is he still drunk?
Yeah, we're just shaking our heads at you, FG, but I've got a question for you all. Quickly ask Alex, and do not lie at what I am asking you to say. I know you. Ask Alex to rate your basketball drip.
Right. I know what you're going to ask.
Like the translator, you got to
Go
wait
on.
for the info.
Yeah.
I already knew you were going to say that as well. Alex, we're being asked in the studio to please rate my basketball drip.
You're fit right now?
Yeah, what do you think?
Miles off.
Oh, you don't like it? You don't like it? Pumas are nice, though. We like
the Puma's nice.
We like Pumas.
Hang on a minute, this is a question for Alex.
As you can tell, like I'm a pretty plain color, like neutrals, black guy. Like that's kind of my style. So the fluorescent green and highlighter yellow is not great.
There you go. Not great. Not great. That's it, Alex. Not great. It's enough.
It kind of reminds me of the Celtics, so like we're even lower on it, you know?
Worse than not great.
Well,
that's what I took from
Puma
that.
for hooking me up, and thank you to Alex for joining us. We'll head back to the studio. Cheers.
Yes, Alex, amazing. Thanks, FG. See you all very shortly. That was the highlight of my day, that.
That was the best part of it, wasn't it?
A professional basketball player has just told him his basketball drip's not great.
Yeah, it was terrible. He looked like the Incredible Hulk.
He did, didn't he? I love that. Not great, not great. That was so much fun, though. That was Alex Caruso. I met him 2 years ago when I was on tour in America 2 years ago, and he is such a hardcore Blue. I love it. I love these stories of the American fans that discovered City on FIFA as well. Brilliant. So we're still seeing the live training sessions there. There is Rico Lewis and Calvin Phillips. Is this still the group that we think might be the... Oh, no, they've come together a bit more now as well. But we're just seeing Calvin and Rico. Just look at Rico's face. He's so happy, isn't he? So happy just knocking the ball around there. So the live training session, of course, taking place tonight ahead of tomorrow's pre-season friendly against Chelsea. 10:30 p.m. UK time kickoff. And in the UK and in many other countries around the world, you can get that on City Plus. Oh, I love these these live training sessions that we get. I'm looking forward to seeing some more that we're going to get as well. In terms of the game tomorrow, gents, love to kind of get your thoughts ahead of the game. We've had 3 games so far, and obviously we've not had a victory yet. Steve, are you concerned at all about the fact that we've not had a win yet? Is a win tomorrow important, or are you just seeing the positives in each of the games that we've played?
No, the result's not important. It's the workout, getting the minutes into the legs of the players, and making sure we start the season with no injuries. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we haven't got a lot of the first team players there. We're going to need some of these lads to get us through the Community Shield and maybe possibly be in and around the squad for Chelsea. So I don't think the results... it's nice to win, but I don't think it's the be and end all of it all. We're just coming to the close of pre-season now. We want to make sure everyone's fit, and the little things he has tried in pre-season, you know, he can implement in the season. So I just want another workout, another solid performance, and another, you know, opportunity for these young lads to stake a claim for the Community Shield.
Paul, how much is pre-season results important to players?
Yeah, they want to win. The players that are out there on the pitch tomorrow, whatever game they play in, these guys are so competitive, whether it's playing table tennis or playing cards or whatever it is. It's, you know, it's in their nature to want to win, and they play as well. But Pep will just want them, the intensity to pick up a little bit, maybe to see a little bit more like the Barcelona game in patterns of play. But from a manager's point of view, it doesn't matter. Look, I've said it all along, I've played in teams and managed teams that have won every pre-season game and then went on to lose the first 3-4 games of the season. And on the flip side of that, I've lost every pre-season game and went on to have a great start of the season as well. So the main thing is getting everybody fit, up to speed. Pep and his coaching staff won't worry about the results, but it will, and it would be nice to finish off the tour with a win.
I think the Chelsea connections are so interesting. I looked at their game that they played against Club America the other night. So they beat Club America 3-0 in what I read was a good win for them. Previous to that, they had quite a bad beating off Celtic, and they'd drawn with Wrexham. So they win against Club America. But the team, Steve, 3 former Blues in the starting 11 for Chelsea. Of course, Cole Palmer not over there as he was away with England, but you had Romeo Lavia, Tosin Adebayo and Raheem Sterling all started in that Club America game. 3 former Blues there. Which one of those do you think you're most worried about for tomorrow night?
Raheem, obviously great player for Manchester City, and even last season, you know, he seemed to turn up against City and have a decent game. He's always dangerous. He knows a lot of the lads out there. And Romeo's, he's got a point to prove last season, got a big move. He didn't quite play enough minutes, so he's looking to, you know, put a marker down for the Chelsea fans and show Chelsea what he's all about. But Raheem Sterling, obviously, some people say he's a legend at Manchester City. You know, if you actually look at the stats and the things he's done here, you know, you can't argue with that. But yeah, looking forward to seeing him and Tosin as well, and Romeo. So, but Raheem's the danger man for me.
Yeah, Tosin was interesting. The fact that he's gone to Chelsea over the summer on a free. His contract ran out at Fulham. Obviously, we sold him to Fulham as well. He was a very successful regular defender for Fulham in the Premier League. Interesting move for him to Chelsea, did you think, Paul?
Yeah, it's a great move for him. Be interesting. I don't know. Would he have worked under Enzo when he was here? I think he was involved in a couple of pre-seasons. You know, and then he had his loan deals and everything else. So I'm pleased for Tosin. You know, he's a great kid. I remember, God, it seems like an eternity ago when he won Academy Player of the Year. I think it was about 5 years ago, would it have been?
Yeah.
So yeah, great move for him. The Fulham fans won't be too happy moving down the road to Chelsea, though. He'll be getting a bit of stick down there for that. But not just Tosin, Romeo and Raheem, all the Chelsea players. not saying these lads we're watching now haven't got a point to prove to Pep, but they'll all be wanting to be in the team sheet for that first game of the season. You know, and the players you've mentioned, you know, and Kunku's out there, they've got quite a strong squad out there, and they'll all be doing everything they can to show Enzo that they can fit in to how they want to play.
Yeah, of course, because they will be going through similar to when we played AC Milan, of course, with their new manager. Yeah. Oh, yes, AC Milan and Barcelona with new managers. Another team with the new manager, which is just clicking in my head. The opportunity for these players to impress the manager, but also for the manager to start to implement his style. Is that the kind of key things on both sides from these friendlies?
Absolutely, and look, a lot of Chelsea players didn't play under Poch. A lot of big names, a lot of big signings. So they'll be coming in here now thinking it's new manager. You know, I didn't have the best of seasons last season. I was in and out of the team. I can really put a marker down and show him that I can fit into his system. So it works both ways. You know, Enzo Maresca will be looking at his squad, looking at his players, and he'll be looking already to the first game of the season and how they're going to set up. Whereas the squad we've got out there, no disrespect to the lads that are there, it'll be completely different by the time we play Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely, of course, which is a game in 2.5 weeks' time, which just... Oh my goodness, like the summer just seems to have whizzed by. Very much looking forward to the start of the season. Of course, we've got the Community Shield against Manchester United before then as well. So the Chelsea game, then the Manchester United game, and then Chelsea again for the Premier League. Last chance tomorrow at all, do you think, Steve, for anybody in particular to stand out and to maybe give themselves, cement themselves a place perhaps in the first team or on the bench for the Community Shield?
Yeah, listen, I think that's going to be running through a few of them players' minds. Some of them will be thinking, have I done enough to get noticed? Others will be thinking, if I can just get another good performance under my belt, I think I have done enough. So there's lots to go at. It's been a really good, refreshing pre-season for me to see all these young lads out there, and I think the experience that they've gained in these 4 weeks is going to be unbelievable. And like you say, tomorrow, final chance to put a marker down for Pep to think, oh, you know, Community Shield coming up, maybe I'll give this kid a chance, you know what I mean? So, be interesting, looking forward to it.
I think it's been a successful pre-season for the kids so far as well. Yeah. You know, all right, people say we've not won yet, but they've held their own in all the games, you know, against Celtic, against AC Milan, against Barcelona. They went in there and put in really good performances.
It's not been beaten badly or anything
not at all.
Like that, no.
Sometimes in pre-season games, you've got kids in there and you're playing these big clubs. You know, you're worried that you're going to get a little bit of a battering that's going to knock the confidence for the whole trip. And it's going to knock the confidence of the kids that are going in. But every single one of them, when they've been called upon, have held their own, which is great to see.
Yeah, I've loved that. It has been a completely different pre-season, but one I think most of the fans have very much enjoyed seeing the youth players as well. So we're still seeing the live open training session here. Anything sort of standing out to you, Paul, that you can tell us that you're seeing here? Fairly standard training session from what you can see?
Yeah, it's the standard possession session that Pep and his coaches put on. You know, you see there's 3 different teams, yellows, blues and oranges. The ones on the ball, the ones chasing the ball and they win it back, whatever colour leaves. So if the orange lose it there, they'll then turn round and it'll be the yellows and blues and the oranges will have to go and win it back. So it's the emphasis on is keeping the ball technically as well. No Pep wants to do, but when you lose the ball, can you win it back as quick as you can?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I hadn't even noticed there was 3 teams. Yeah. Looking in the background as well, it looks like a similar thing. And in the background, of course, you've got Josko, there's Erling, there's Jack, there's Nico O'Reilly, Oscar Bob in the background as well. In terms of standout players from the tour, obviously, of the 3 games that we've seen so far, you mentioned at the start of the tour, Nico O'Reilly you thought was going to have a standout, and obviously we saw his goal, Steve. Oscar Bob, of course, was mentioned by a few of us, in you know, and he's had an incredible. Who's been your standout academy or breakthrough player of the tour so far?
I think a bit of a breakthrough. You know, Steve got to give Steve all the credit before a ball was even kicked against AC Milan. He picked Nico out. But the one for me, you mentioned him there, was Oscar. I think he's looked razor sharp in training. He looks as if he's a yard sharper as well. What he's doing in the games, and he looks as if he's taking the responsibility with other senior players not being there. He's the one that he's putting it on himself to start creating things. You know, Bernardo's not there, Kevin's not there, Phil's not there. The ones who are usually doing all the creative stuff for us, and he looks as if he's like, yeah, you know what, I'm the man, and he wants to show Pep that he's ready to go right in now. I think he's been the standout for me.
Oh, absolutely. What do you think, Steve?
Same, yeah. I think with Oscar as well, we've got a new player that's just been signed as well in that position who can play there. Sometimes that competition sets a bit of a light underneath you and you think, you know what, I've got to step it up. Last season he was great, you know, the goal, Newcastle goal stood out. And this pre-season he's really, really excelled. So, but Nico, you know, I stuck my neck on the line early doors and said, I hope he stands out. I had a bit of faith in him, and yeah, he's been brilliant. But overall, you know, any Manchester City supporter sitting back in Manchester or wherever watching these pitches and seeing these lads play, you've got to be proud of the job the academy and the club have been doing with these players.
Oh, proud of the academy beyond these players as well, because like, the players we just mentioned that are at Chelsea now as well, you know, the academy players that we're now seeing splattered across the whole of the Premier League and the Football League as well. It's been an incredible few years for the academy as well. Oscar Bob has certainly been one of the standout players. I'm wondering how he's feeling about his time on the tour. Do you think he's done enough? Where do you expect to see him fitting in come the proper season?
I think he's done enough. I think he's definitely give Pep enough to be in with a shout of starting. You know, Community Shield. I can see Oscar Bob. Again. Yeah, starting. Even Chelsea. Yeah, like you say, and he's just got to keep doing what he's doing, stay fit, and get in and around this first team, and make sure that when he does get his chance, that he shows us what he can do. He can't just slip into the background. If you slip into the background in this squad, someone's willing to take your shirt. He's got to now think, right, I've had a solid pre-season, I'm going to hit the ground running. If I'm ready to be selected Charity Shield or Chelsea or both, I'm going to put a performance in both them games where Pep can't drop me.
I don't think there's any doubt he starts in Community Shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Through his performances, and what it's possibly done as well is stop Pep maybe rushing, whether it's Phil or Doku coming back, or the players that have been maybe rushing them to get back into the team, knowing how good Oscar's been. You know, some Pep can think, you know, he's ready to start.
Yeah.
He is ready to start these big games. He's possibly been our best player pre-season. Get another good performance tomorrow, another good performance in the Community Shield. I think he's nailed down to start. Yeah. And what it does, it gives, whether it's Phil or whoever it is, one of the other players, an extra week, an extra couple of weeks to get up to the fitness, because they know how good he is and that they can trust him to go and do it.
Because of all the late nights we've been having for the last 2 weeks, my head is so mashed on what day it is, and I've just realised that it's actually a week tomorrow, isn't it? It's a week tomorrow, the Community Shield.
Well, it'll be a week today now in the time difference.
Oh my goodness, you're right, Paul.
Today, yeah.
Oh, why are you trying to mess with me even more?
Yeah, I'm still in the US time, so I'm all right.
A week and 13 hours or something until the Community Shield. Goodness, that's gone fast. Are you going down to Wembley to watch it? What's your plans?
I mean, I've got a ticket, but I'm going on holiday early hours the next day, so I'm just trying to work out the logistics of it.
So that means yes?
Yeah.
That means he's got to speak to his wife, yes.
Just seeing who was watching, you know. Yeah. But no, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And
Are you?
Yeah, listen, with this team, I'm confident. I look forward to it. You know, we've had a fantastic season last year. We had a disappointing game in the FA Cup final, and we owe them one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Paul, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I always do.
Oh, I know, but you're always so much more confident than me.
No, I do. I think going down there, they won't have their strongest team out anyway, and even if they did, I still think they would beat them with the team Pep's going to put out next week. They've had a few injuries already pre-season as well. You know, we're talking about the importance of not getting players injured at all for any club, but especially to one of your new signings.
And the Community Shield, Paul, is never a good game for us. I think we've lost the last three.
It's one of them, Steve, isn't it? As a fan, it's the same as Carabao. If you win it, you're buzzing. If you lose it, it doesn't matter. Sort of thing. It's one of them, isn't it?
Oh, I was just annoyed we hadn't won it in the last few years, because we could have said that we'd won 5 and 6 trophies. You know, we'd war trophies. I
think Pep said it last season, wasn't it? Did he not say, we've lost the previous ones, we've always went on to win the league, so we'll take that. Yeah. So I'll take that again next week, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that's been demonstrative of the fact, again, it will be this year, that a lot of the players are not with us for, you know, they're away, they train, they don't get much holiday time, because people often say we are slow at the start of seasons, although I feel like if you look back at last year's, that wasn't true. No. But it's the kind of the thing that people say about City.
Yeah, a couple of seasons before that, you could say, we started slow. But it's very different now, football. It's like, we've never had it before. Like, when you're more successful you are, the more it hinders you pre-season and hinders the beginning of the season. And we've been, you know, thrown into a couple of tough games early doors, and you've got Chelsea away, which is not going to be easy, and then you've got Ipswich, newly promoted side, who are still on that, you know, upward
good
curve.
Team, by the way.
Yeah, they are,
and
they're coming to the Etihad, and they're going to be hoping they can catch us cold. So we've got to be on our toes. But like you say, it is frustrating a little bit when he's probably not worked with everybody. But there's that many games in a season now. They've got to have a break mentally. He mentioned it in his press conference before. Mentally, you've got to be right mentally to come back. And yeah, I think we'll be all right, though. I think we'll be all right.
Paul, give us an idea. So if we're going to go into the Community Shield, probably with everybody back, although Pep has said in his press conferences several times that he wants the players to come back when they are ready, when they're not fatigued and when they're raring to go again. Going into a game at Wembley against Manchester United, the curtain opener of the season, still a friendly, but the curtain opener of the season, how is it, considering that the majority of the players won't have played a game in 4, 5, 6 weeks?
Yeah. I think you're on about the players that are coming back.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it'll just be the physical condition, as in going out there to play and how Pep wants them to play. They could do that with their eyes closed. You know, you look at Kyle Walker, Ake, Akanji, Rodri, Phil, Jeremy Doku. Who am I missing out here? John Stones. You know, they all know what Pep wants. You know, and they could go out there as in a positional sense and tactical sense and go out there and do it. It's just that physical aspect of whether they're ready and keep talking about that word injuries. You know, you don't want to rush them, give them too many minutes too soon for injuries. But I would imagine that 4 or 5 of that lot would maybe come on, maybe get 15, 20 minutes at some point in the Community Shield next week. And then with a view of going to Chelsea.
Going to Chelsea. Thank you. Gents, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I've enjoyed you for 2 of the shows, Paul, and 3 of the shows, Steve. So thank you so much both for being here as well and, you know, flying back and being with us, Paul.
Just for you guys, that's all it was.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. So the live training session pictures you can see there going on in the background as well ahead of the Chelsea game tomorrow night. Of course, we will be back with you here Match Day Live with Steve Howie and Nicky Weaver. Paul Dickov is going to tell me some stories to repeat to them tomorrow night. Thanks, Paul, when we come off air. I'll be here from about 9:20 tomorrow night, UK time, 10:30 p.m. kick-off, UK time. And don't forget that you in the UK and in many countries around the world tomorrow can watch the game live on City Plus. So now is a great time, if you're not already signed up to that, to go and get yourself sorted ahead of the game tomorrow. Just want to also say a massive, big good luck this evening to our Dakota Ditchever, our wonderful Manchester City fan, PFL fighter, who has a huge fight tonight over in Houston in the PFL. And
come on, Dakota.
She'll win, and I'm looking forward to seeing which of her celebrations.
She's a superstar.
She's unbelievable. Yeah. And obviously we've had the Griddy, we've had the thing, we've had the Haaland. So Dakota, what have you got for us tonight?
She's got to do a knee slide.
Oh, I'd like that.
Yes,
yes, absolute and utter best of luck to Dakota. That's in about 2 hours' time, so we might stay up and watch it. So thank you very much all for joining us for PitchSide Live this evening. Thanks to FG, to Alex Crusoe, Shaun and to Joleon as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your evening. We'll be back here, well, in less than 24 hours. We'll see you then.
On Enzo Maresca, they're calling him Diet Pep. What do you make of that nickname, and have you spoken to him and offered any advice since he got the Chelsea job?
Like you, but not quite you.
It's for the her. For the beer.